Okay, and now we're going to, we have one more thread that was originally our middle color, so we have to do forward knots across all of these. And I've used 4 threads of each color, but I have done this before where you can do 3 threads of each color. You do it the same exact way. That's why I'm not saying like how many forward knots you do, because you can vary this. You can do more or less threads. It depends on how thick you want the bracelet, and how much patience you have. Because sometimes they're a little time consuming. And if you have laundry to do or dinner to cook, you know, you can't always just sit around and make bracelets. So we're going to do forward knots all the way across, and I try and pull them somewhat tight when I go up. That way there's not space between the knots, so there's not going to be like holes and stuff. I think it looks neater. Just try, if you're pulling it, just try and pull it taut, do the same tautness on each thread. Don't do some tight and some loose, because then I'll show you the bracelet that I did earlier. Like part of the bracelet will be thicker and part of it will be thinner, and sometimes it just doesn't look right. But we're all human, and you know, we all make mistakes, and nobody's perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do forward knots on what was the original, the middle color, which is the same color that you should be using to do the knots with. So you just continue on. I hope you guys can see this okay. There we go. Okay, now we're going to switch. Now we're going to take, you have 3 colors again. You're going to take your middle color again, and you're going to do backward knots going over the color on your left. So a backward knot is the one that looks kind of like a P. So you're going to take your thread, you start out with the now this matters because they're already in order. Only the very first time you do this up here it doesn't matter, but now it matters. So you grab your threads, your color threads that are on your left, organize them so you can do knots on each one, and then you're going to take your closest middle thread and you're going to do backward knots. Now because I hold my, because I hold my thread in my hands, I just tend to do backward knots like this. Okay, and you just go up. Now you do the next one. And once again, I'm sorry I'm not really showing you how to do a forward or a backward knot. There's a lot of tutorials out there, so I didn't figure that I needed to do that. I saw some good tutorials, and this is a harder bracelet, so I figure you don't really need that. And really the only reason I'm doing this, my kids came home the other day, yesterday, and asked me if I was gonna put a video on YouTube of how to make a bracelet. And I was like, well, no, there's a lot of them already on there. But they wanted me to do that, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so now you take the next color that's in your middle, that's in the middle color, and you're going to do backward knots again. You're going to go over to the color that's on the left. So basically, depending on how many threads you have, you're going to do knots over all of the color on the left, and then you're going to do backward knots also on the color that was in the middle that's now all the way on the left. Hope that's not confusing. Okay, so now I'm doing the last thread of the color that was on the left, which was purple for me. And then we're also going to do backward knots, a backward knot, on the color that was in the middle, which is green, which should be the same color of the one that you're actually using to do the knotting. Okay, and then you put that to your left. And now we take a thread from the middle again, the one that's closest to the left, and you do backward knots again. Now, this is really simple. It looks complicated. I mean, if you don't know how to do forward and backward knots, it is kind of complicated. Oh, and also when you're doing your first thing, make sure it's kind of tight right there. Otherwise, you're going to kind of have like a hole between the colors in your bracelet. Sorry.